Everyone knows about Miami's famous art BAZL, but the NFT craze has opened the doors for a new kind of exhibition. Wealth management platform Ilidium and blockchain investment firm GDA Capital have teamed up for the first ever physical NFT showing of its kind. NFT BAZL promises to be a game-changing event for both the blockchain and art industry. Curated by Estella Hayen, the event has signed Daniel Mazzoni, Paul Russo, Super Buddha, and a group of other prominent digital artists. It'll also feature live auctions on Elysium's in-app marketplace, which will then provide artists with automatic royalty payments for their sold work. We sat down for a chat with the organizers, Elysium's Raul Milhado as well as GDA Capital's Aurea Hayen and Michael Gord. They gave us a better idea of what both crypto enthusiasts and art collectors can expect to see on June 2nd at the Temple House in South Beach. Q. What is NFT BAZL in a nutshell? Ori. With NFT BAZL we've essentially created the world's first physical gallery where we're going to be able to showcase both physical and digital pieces of art and sell them both using an NFT. So we've essentially figured out a way to digitize the deed of ownership to a physical piece of art, tie it to a QR code that ties to the Ilidium platform, and then we can transfer ownership. When you've seen people in the typical NFT market selling digital art, they've learned how to sell the deed of ownership to a digital image. We said, why can't we transfer that and apply this tech to the same physical piece of art? So what we've done with NFT BAZL enables us to transfer ownership of digital and physical assets using the NFT. We've bridged the gap. We brought in a team of close to 20 of the world's best-known artists, and we got them to bring both physical and digital pieces of art. They're both going to be on display at the same time, at the same venue, on the same wall and sold using the same tech. Raul. Maybe you can share a bit of background information on how you were able to get all of these artists. Obviously, Ilidium is doing the technology side of things, but maybe you can elaborate a little bit on your network, GDA's network, and how we were able to get all this to work. Ori. So I'll give you a bit of my background and that will explain a little bit of how I thought of this, how we created this idea. I was basically a banker straight out of university. I worked at Goldman Sachs where I worked on equity sales and trading and then started developing the Bitcoin trading desk. The experience was phenomenal, but I wanted to challenge myself and build my understanding of traditional capital markets. So I moved to TD Securities after a couple of years to start trading equity derivatives, and eventually, I got bored of that. After a couple of years, I started talking to Michael, who's CEO of GDA, and he said, why don't you come to join us and start working with our portfolio companies to build out their lead in their business development, leveraging your understanding of fintech and capital markets. Essentially, add rocket fuel to their existing ships and help them accelerate their existing offer. So I moved over to GDA and the first company that was in front of me was Ilidium. I started talking to Raul and quickly figured out that what Ilidium has created is the wealth management and fintech platform of the future. Essentially, being able to manage your wealth without requiring a physical bank. I said, why don't we show people that we can use Ilidium as a fintech platform to carry out all your transactions? Given that Elysium's already got this boutique and high-end appearance, why don't we start with art? Art I'm already tied into because my mom is an art dealer, so I said, why don't we try high-end art? If we can learn to transfer the deed of ownership of a physical piece of art, we can apply this to essentially anything and just use Ilidium as your bank account and use the Ilidium credit card as a method of payment. Our goal with NFT BAZL is to show that we can bridge the gap between digital and physical assets and show that we can use digital banking to buy physical assets. So we started working a couple of months ago, it took off, we onboarded a crazy roster of artists. We have people contacting us from left, right, and center. We've essentially created a technology that's going to be applied to every sector. We're going to be able to apply this NFT technology and fintech to real estate, to sports, to memorabilia, to physical collectibles, and digital collectibles. Q. What is the biggest advancement of NFT art and Ilidium for artists? Ori. There's a couple of things. First, it gives the artists access to GDA and Elysium's network of both digital asset investors and physical asset collectors. So we've bridged the gap between an art collector and a Bitcoin buyer. That was the first value added. We're essentially compiling those two worlds, which is why we did NFT BAZL.